This is going to be a quick run through if you didn't catch it on how to model up, or my recommended way of modeling up the Trojan block. So here we go. The Trojan block is modeled up as this. So you'll need to refer to this drawing in order to do it. And I'm going to recommend you do start on the top plane. This thing just consists primarily of a rectangular base. And even for kicks here, what we can do instead before of a corner rectangle, we could actually try doing a center rectangle. Do the rectangle about the center of the origin. So that comes out when I click on the origin at the center. It does that. Now we can come in Smart Dimension, there and there. So that's supposed to be 2 inches. And that right there, side to side, another 2 inches. Check, looks good. Let's extrude that out, come to that orientation. This dimension is actually going to be 0.75 from the bottom to the top. 3/4 of an inch. Okay, check. Got a block. So we probably do this as a group, and I just let you do it on your own. Likely many of you will. What we need next is on this top face of the part is another extruded boss. Okay, but many of you, I think, are going to have a tendency to want to draw all of those circles at once. So you do like 1 circle, then 2 circles, then 3 circles, then 4 circles. Okay, that is a rough and tumble way to just dive in there and do it, but we're going to try this. Now that we know how to make linear patterns, I'm going to then, yes, and this cool feature here, if you right click, so I need the Smart Dimension here. That's not what I want. I'm holding down, I clicked and I'm holding down my right mouse button. See how this thing shows up? Oh, I'm doing it wrong. Hold down mouse button, and I'm actually moving my mouse around. And if I then go towards that thing that's the Smart Dimension icon, with the mouse gesture, they call it, you're able to get to that Smart Dimension. So here we go. I'm going to then type in 1/2 inch, 0.5, and this then requires spacing 1/2 inch diameter. That's what that means. 1/2 inch over, 1/2 inch up from the bottom corner of the part. So here we go. Oops, missed that. So now I click on the center point. So to dimension a distance of a circle to anything, you got to go from the center point of it to something. I've noticed many of you, so like if I deleted this away, so in order to alter that dimension, I got to kind of click, drag, and move it to highlight it. But if I wanted to dimension the circle, many of you have a tendency to want to click on the center point first. Don't do that. To actually do the diameter of a circle feature, you need to just click on the circumference. So that does it there. Cool, great. So that's all I'm going to do in this sketch. I have now modeled the circle that's going to end up being one of those circular bosses that stands up off the top. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of that. I'm going to get into an extrude mode again. That needs to be 1/4 of an inch, 0.25. There we go, we've got that. Now, one other little subtle detail is this part has this little radius on the top boss here to just soften that edge so it's not a sharp edge. Sharp corner rather. So the way that we're going to do that now is with a feature, a fillet feature. And that's not fillet like in fish, but it's a fillet when we're talking about solid modeling. And when I click on that, we've got this dialog box here. It's asking items to fillet. So what I'm going to do in this one is the top edge of that boss that I want to fillet. And that's kind of big right there, and it's not the dimension that I actually called out on the drawing. and that is 50 thousandths, 0.05 inches radius. Click check. Check one more time, and voila, we have one boss feature with a fillet on top of it. Okay, so now we have learned in previous tutorials that we've done now how to do a linear pattern. So we're going to do this one to our advantage here. So we're going to want to do a linear pattern to make more of these bosses as opposed to sketching them all in. There. So direction 1, it's going to ask us for a direction. That box is highlighted right now. I'm simply just going to click one of these edges along the part. So this is going to take me actually in the X direction as it's oriented here. So that's that direction. And our spacing on our part needed to be 2 instances of 1 inch spacing. Hit enter on that. Direction 2 is now highlighted over here. And I want to go on the direction of that edge. Okay. And that is also going to be 1 inch. I can enter that value there. Now it looks like nothing's happening yet because I haven't actually yet selected anything to pattern. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on that little triangle, which is the feature manager flyout, I think they call it. And now with this selection that's showing blue, that's looking for an input, I'm going to click on boss extrude 1. Whoop, that was the wrong thing. That was the base feature. Oops. When I clicked on that, that wasn't what I wanted to select. I can come back down here and I can click clear selections, and that's going to get it all done. I'm going to click delete. No, what I actually wanted to do, see how that was highlighting orange? I should have seen that. Hover over that. That boss is orange. That's the one that I wanted to actually copy, or pattern rather. And I'm going to select the fillet as well. Okay. And then I'm going to click check here. Ooh, look at that. Cool. So just to show you, in case you made a mistake, you can come back. If you right click on that for the linear pattern now, you can come back and that's the icon to edit the feature. And you can come back in here and then it's going to pop you this dialog box. So imagine that if I forgot to select the fillet, oops, you can see that that one still has its fillet, but these other ones just don't. It looks a little weird. Right click, I can come back in here and edit again if I had to. Add that fillet back in. And off and away we go. Excellent, huh? Aha. Cool. Alrighty. So now the last thing here we got to do on the bottom face, this face right here. Now instead of going straight into, we're going to end up doing an extruded cut, but I'm going to show you, you could click here and just start doing a sketch on that bottom face. If I hold down the control key and the number 8, that's going to get me oriented normal, or viewing perpendicular to that plane. And now again, I could actually do a center rectangle here, which will actually be good. From that origin point, coming out here, and haha, now I've always got a centered up square feature or rectangle or something. And in this case, what I'm going to do is I am going to dimension this then, smart dimension here, from there to there. That is going to be, actually I'm going to do it the other way. So oops, escape, I didn't want that in that direction. I'm going to delete that out. I'm going to do from there to there is going to be, 1.5 inch. Oh, and I messed that up again. I'm being silly. Oh, didn't want that. I'm looking for a vertical dimension here. I was going to dimension it the same way that I actually dimensioned it in here. So 1.5 inches. And it's going to actually be both ways, but I'll show you some other things that we're going to do here. So, vertical dimension. I keep making the same mistake. From there to there. 1.5 inches. Okay. Alright, so it's 1.5 inches that way, and you could then, I gave you these reference dimensions here of how it's going to be spaced out. And this is going to be from there to there, 0.25 now. Now, if we did that way, we now have our part centered up about that direction. Okay. And oops. No, actually, excuse me, not oops. We're still good. Now, what we also then need to take into consideration is that the corners in there, the corners in here are going to be 1/4 inch radiuses. Again, those are going to be fillets, but those are going to be, we will sketch fillet these ones. So that they're going to be built into, those fillets will be built into the sketch. We'll see how this works out for us. Okay, may blow things up, but we'll see. Sketch fillet right there. We're going to do 0.25, enter. Okay, entities to fillet. What you're going to do is you're going to click on that, and you're going to click on that, click on that, that to that, that to that. See if it pops us an error. So no, that still kept good. And a quick check. So now if we do this, see that we've still got these center lines here coming along. I'm curious now, if I change this value to just say be 1 inch, it may not, we're going to see what happens. 1 inch, yeah, it still keeps it about center, which is a good thing. See, so now that was an important thing, is that from this drawing here, it implies that this cutout feature is symmetric and on center here. Notice how these right here actually grayed out right now on this drawing. It means those are really just for reference only, as reference dimension. You should be able to pick up it's 1.5 inches. So I'm going to change this. Excuse me. Yeah, that the dimensions here to here and here to here are going to be 1.5 inches. That's good. So I'm going to get out of this sketch. And now you're going to say, well, wait a minute, Mr. Foreman, I wanted to make an actual cutout with this, but why am I not seeing that dialog box that allows me to make a cut? Well, guess what? We've only made a sketch. Now off of our sketch, I'm going to click on the sketch here, or actually I'll click on Extruded Cut first. So again, if you see this thing, it's asking you either to select a face to actually start a sketch on to make a cut, or it's saying just select an existing sketch. It came to that fly down, and I know I want to use sketch 3. There we go. So now it's extruding out. And we actually want to make this 0.260 to have a little bit of clearance, since these are Lego type blocks, or a Trojan block, we'll call it. That then completes out the part in a very nice simplified way, okay? But there's not only one size of block like this, right? So in the next short little video, I'm going to talk about how we can pattern out, because it would be very very boring to just only have one type of block to load together, or excuse me, to build together. So then what I want you to do is you're going to do File, Save. You're going to do this. Notice how I have other blocks. I'm going to do things modeled. I'm just going to call this Mr. Foreman block and save it to a file where I know it is. Okay. And I'm going to actually call this demonstration. There we go. But you guys can name it whatever you can keep tabs on. So that's how we're going to model a basic block.